My name is Morgan Pike. I'm 36 years old. I manage inventory for a small furniture warehouse, and I'm the kind of person who pays bills early because I hate the feeling of owing anyone anything. I grew up in a house where the lights flickered at the end of the month and everyone pretended it was just the weather. As an adult, I promised myself I'd never live like that again. So the night my power shut off, clean, sudden, absolute, I thought it had to be a blown transformer or a neighborhood outage. Then I looked out the window and saw every other house lit up like normal. My living room was the only one in the dark. I stood there for a full second, holding my phone flashlight against the wall like it could turn electricity back on through sheer indignation. My fridge had stopped humming. The air was too quiet. My dog, yes, I have a dog, unlike half the stories I seem to live through, lifted his head and stared at me like I was supposed to fix it. I checked my breaker panel first. Everything looked fine. No tripped switches. I flipped them anyway. Nothing. I opened the utility app. No outage alerts, no warnings, no late notices. Then my phone buzzed with an email. Service disconnected. Customer requested transfer. My stomach dropped. Customer requested transfer. I didn't request anything. I clicked the email and my blood went cold. It confirmed my account had been closed at my address and service had been started at a different address. Effective today. Different address. I stared at the email until the words blurred. Then I did what anyone would do when they suddenly realize reality has been edited. I called the utility company. After the robotic prompts and the hold music that always sounds like someone's idea of calm, a representative answered. Thank you for calling Metro Electric. This is Dawn. How can I help you? My power just got shut off, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But I'm paid up. Your email says I requested a transfer. I did not. Dawn typed. I could hear the clicking. Okay, she said slowly. I'm seeing the account was closed due to a move-out request. I didn't move out, I said. I'm standing in my house, in the dark. Dawn paused. It shows a move-out date for today and a move-in request for a new address. What new address? I asked. Dawn hesitated, as if she didn't like what she was about to say. For security, I can only confirm the city and zip unless you verify. I can verify anything, I snapped. Then I forced myself calmer. Ask me. She asked the usual. Last four of my social, my email, phone number, security question. I answered. Then she said, Okay, the new service address is 418 Waverly Court. My stomach dropped. Waverly Court was not my address. It wasn't even in my town. It was across the city in an older neighborhood near the freeway, an area I only knew because my cousin used to live nearby years ago. I didn't request that, I said again, voice tight. Who did? Dawn typed more. The request was submitted online through your customer portal. Portal. My throat tightened. Dawn, I said carefully, I did not submit it. Someone accessed my account. Dawn's tone shifted into procedural calm. I'm sorry to hear that. We can open a fraud ticket, but first I need to ask, do you want your service restored at your current address? Yes, I said, immediately. Dawn hesitated. I can restore service, but there may be a reconnection fee. A fee? My voice rose. You shut off my power because someone hacked my account. I understand, she said, soothing, but the system treats it as a customer-requested transfer. I felt my anger sharpen into something cold. Dawn, I said, I'm not paying a fee for fraud. Please escalate me to a supervisor. There was a pause, then she said, One moment, and put me on hold. While I waited, I checked my email again. There was a second message. Welcome to Metro Electric, new service confirmed. Welcome, not to me, to whoever requested the service at Waverly Court. And underneath it, a detail that made my stomach flip. Deposit waived. Verified identity match. Identity match, meaning whoever did this didn't just click buttons. They passed identity verification on my account. The supervisor came on the line. His name was Brian. His voice was sharper, more businesslike. Ms. Pike, I understand you're reporting an unauthorized transfer. Yes, I said. My power is off. Your system says I moved. I did not. Someone started service at a different address using my account. Brian typed. I see it, he said. It was processed through the portal with successful verification. How did they verify? I asked. Brian hesitated. We sent a one-time code to the phone number on file. My stomach dropped. My phone number? Yes, he said. I stared at my phone like it had betrayed me. I never received a code. Brian clicked again. It shows the code was delivered and entered. Delivered? To what? Brian, I said slowly, read the phone number on file. I can't read the full number, he said, but I can confirm the last 4 digits. Do it, I said. He read them. They were not mine. My blood turned to ice. That's not my number, I whispered. Brian's tone changed. So your contact information was changed before the transfer. My hands started shaking. Changed when? Brian typed. 2 days ago. Phone number updated, email updated. Email updated? I checked my portal login email again. It was still mine, but maybe the contact email inside the utility system was different. That's how these scams work. Change the internal notification email, keep the login the same, so the real person doesn't notice until the lights go out. Brian, I said, voice tight. Restore power to my address now. He hesitated. We need to verify your identity again and reverse the transfer. I'm verified, I said, and you have my payment history and my service address. What more do you need? Because if someone is actively using your account elsewhere, Brian said carefully, we need to secure it. Secure it? Fine. But I was the one sitting in the dark. He asked more questions, then said, okay, I can submit an emergency reconnect. It may take up to 4 hours. 4 hours. I clenched my jaw. Do it. And we'll open a fraud investigation, he added. We'll also note you're disputing the deposit waiver and any charges. Good, I said, and my voice shook. Now tell me, who is at Waverly Court? I can't disclose customer information, he replied quickly. But it's my account, I said. My name. And that's why it's fraud, he said. But we still can't disclose the occupant. I swallowed hard. At least tell me if it's active right now. Brian paused. Yes, he said. Service is active there. So someone was sitting in a lit house across the city using electricity under my name while I sat in darkness. That's when fear shifted into clarity. This wasn't just a utility problem. This was identity theft with a physical location attached. And when your identity is attached to an address you don't control, you don't just risk bills. You risk legal mess, collections, police calls, liability, all of it. While I waited for reconnection, I did what my job taught me, build a record. I screenshotted every email, every portal page. I wrote down timestamps. I froze my credit with all bureaus. I changed my utility portal password immediately and enabled every security feature available. Then I called my bank to check if any other accounts had unusual changes. Nothing yet. Then I called my cell provider, because the utility supervisor said the one-time code went to a different number, which meant my utility profile had been updated, but it didn't explain how someone got into the portal in the first place unless they also had my login credentials or email access. My cell provider confirmed something that made my stomach drop again. There had been a SIM swap inquiry on my account last week. It didn't complete, but someone had tried to hijack my number. So the plan was bigger. Get my number, get my codes, get into accounts. The power shutoff was just the first visible symptom. At 9:27 p.m., my porch light flickered back on. The fridge hummed. The house breathed again. Relief hit me hard enough to make me dizzy, but the relief didn't last because now I knew someone had been inside my accounts, and I didn't know how far they'd gone. The next morning, I went to Metro Electric's physical office downtown. I didn't trust phone calls anymore. I wanted face-to-face, stamped paperwork, and names. The office was busy. People arguing about bills, people filling out forms, a security guard by the entrance. When it was my turn, I told the clerk, my service was transferred fraudulently to another address. I need a fraud affidavit and a printed account change log. The clerk's expression tightened. She pulled up my account and said, oh, That O told me she saw something bad. What? I asked. She lowered her voice. That new address has already been associated with 3 other accounts flagged for fraud this month. My stomach dropped. So Waverly Court was a pattern address, a scam hub. The clerk printed the change log, phone number update, email update, move-out request, move-in request, deposit waiver, activation. She stapled it and slid it to me like she was handing me evidence. I asked, "Can you tell me who's listed at Waverly Court?" She shook her head. "Not without law enforcement." I nodded. "I'm filing a police report today." I did. I filed it as identity theft and fraud, gave the officer the account logs and the Waverly Court address as a suspect location. The officer wasn't dramatic. He was procedural, but his tone sharpened when he saw the pattern address note. He said, "This may be part of a larger fraud ring." Ring. That word made me feel both safer and worse. Safer because it meant it wasn't personal, worse because rings are organized. Over the next week, my mail started acting strange. Bills delayed, a missing credit card statement. Then I received a change of address confirmation letter that I hadn't requested. Someone was trying to redirect my mail, too. I locked my credit. I put a hold at the post office. I set up USPS informed delivery. I installed a locked mailbox. I changed every password to every financial account and turned on multi-factor where possible. I replaced my router password. I treated my digital life like a compromised house. Then I got a call from Metro Electric's fraud team. They confirmed my account had been accessed from an IP address out of state. They confirmed the contact phone number had been changed from my profile before the transfer. They reversed all fees. They removed my name from the Waverly Court account and flagged it as fraudulent. They recommended I keep my credit frozen and file an FTC identity theft report. 2 days after that, a detective called. He asked if I was willing to provide a statement about the Waverly Court address because they had multiple complaints and were building a case. I said yes. He didn't tell me everything, but he told me enough. Scam operators were using stolen identities to open utility accounts at addresses they controlled, sometimes to avoid deposits, sometimes to establish proof of residence, sometimes to make it easier to open other accounts, banking, phones, leases, because utilities are often used as identity verification. That's what made my stomach drop. They weren't just stealing electricity. They were building a fake life using my name. The utility company shut off my power, then asked why I requested service at a different address. And that's when I learned the most unsettling truth. Your identity isn't just your credit score. It's your physical footprint, where systems think you live, what bills bear your name, what doors your paperwork can open. And if someone moves your identity to a different address, they can turn your life off like a switch until you fight hard enough to flip it back.